Is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. In today's show, I'm gonna be telling you guys about my coming out story. So for those of you who don't already know, I identify as a gay man, and I had to do this video shirtless just to drive that point in a little more. Look at that. I did cupping yesterday. So growing up, I definitely knew that there was something different about me in the way that I related to men. And I kind of knew this when I was in middle school is when I started really noticing it, that whenever like my guy friends would take their shirts off in front of me, or we would have like a pool party, I would, like, just my body sensationally, I would feel more like on. I guess that's why they call it turned on, right? But I, like, physically my skin would heat up. I would feel almost like I just wanted to move more. My stomach would kind of churn, a little bit of butterflies. My heart rate would increase, and that's kind of how I knew that there was like some attraction there. However, I had kind of adopted this mindset that being gay is wrong and it's not preferred and it's a harder life to live. So I really didn't want that for myself at a young age, so I suppressed it for many, many years. And the main thing that I would tell myself is, it's just a phase. I like girls. And I told myself that for over 10 years. Fast forward to high school, that's actually the first time I ever had an experience with a man that was like intimate, sexual, like I actually had sex with a guy. And again, I told myself, just a phase. And in college as well, I had a lot of experiences on this dating app called Grindr. Ugh. Super toxic app, yet it's a way for men to communicate with men, so I'm grateful for that. And I was so against myself that I would get like really drunk, and then I would get on the app and then find like a guy to talk to or to have an experience with. And obviously, like, this was really toxic to myself, to my confidence, to my ability to love myself. And this cycle went on very unconsciously until about the age of 24, when I actually came out and claimed it and decided to stop hiding it. Now, my coming out experience has about 3 important phases. And the first important phase was when I was about a freshman in college. I was about 22, was when I started telling very select. I had 2 friends, love these guys to death, still friends with them today. And they were my best guy friends, completely straight men. And I told them that I think I'm bi-curious. I'll never forget, like, when I told one of them, his name's Eddie, love this guy. We used to go to a lot of raves and festivals together. I remember I used to work at Olive Garden as a busboy at the time, and I remember very specifically and vividly, like, I just had to talk to him about it because I was tired of hiding it. I texted him these long paragraphs saying, I think I'm bi-curious. It was like, and that was phase 1, is like telling people I'm bi-curious, right? I even cried at work. Like, I was so scared how he was gonna react, because one of my biggest fears was that my straight male friends would push me away. Friends that I really valued and cared for as friends. I had this story or this idea that they were gonna think I was attracted to them and they would push me away. And I even had, like, I guess, bromances, like a lot of straight guys have, is like, a relationship that's like intimate but not in a sexual way, and I was afraid that I was gonna lose that connection as well, and I was terrified. And I'll never forget, like, I was crying and anxious at work, and Eddie just texted me back something along the lines of, and this was many years ago, so something along the lines of like, dude, I'm literally laughing my ass off right now you're fine. Like, I love you, man. Like, you're totally good, no judging you. And then shortly after that, I was at a karaoke night with my other friend that I told, JP, another straight man, and we were actually a squad, like us three back in the day. I told JP, and I was really sad, and I was scared, and I was drinking, and I was like, hey JP, like, I think I'm bi-curious or bi, like, and I started crying, and JP was like, thank you for telling me. He puts his hand on my shoulder, and he just loves up on me, and he's like, bro, like, I love you no matter what. Thank you for telling me. And that was phase one. And that happened when I was about 22, 21, around there. And then later on, I started participating in this retreat experience. Super amazing experience that I learned how to become a facilitator, and I invested a bunch of money to attend these like human connection retreats where a lot of the main principles were around creativity, radical honesty, unapologetic self-expression, and just becoming who you are and figuring out who you are, right? One of the exercises, actually the first exercise that we do at every retreat, and I went to multiple retreats with this same brand, is called the confession exercise. And in this exercise, what we would do is we would admit everything that we don't want people to know about us in the middle of the circle. Imagine you're in the middle of the circle and there's 30 people and you're confessing everything you hold shame around. You know, some people would confess their sleeping partners, some people would confess drug addictions, some people would confess ways in which they were like horrible to a family member or abusive even, and like, it was such a powerful exercise. And the first time I did that exercise, I was like, oh, I've slept with men before. That's what I had confessed. And then I went to the second retreat, and this is all part of phase 2 of my coming out process. I went to the second retreat and I started just saying, I'm bisexual, which is not true at all. I don't identify with being bisexual. So phase 1 was me saying I'm bi-curious. Phase 2 was me saying I'm bisexual, like having the courage to say that. And then phase 3, I went to my third retreat with this same retreat brand. During the confession exercise, which we do at every retreat as the first exercise, I was again saying I'm bisexual. And then, but it just felt off. It felt off, it didn't feel real to me. Something about it wasn't working anymore. And one of my life coaches who was there, we were eating lunch after, and he comes up to me and he just very lovingly starts asking me questions about my love life and about my intimacy. And he starts asking me like, hey, so are you in a relationship? And I was like, no. And then he starts asking me, when was the last time you were in a relationship with a woman? And then I noticed like this discomfort arise like in my gut. And I had told him when I last had a girlfriend, which was freshman in college, not a great relationship at all. I feel bad for her. Then he asked me like, well, how's the intimacy? How was the sex? That discomfort started expanding because it started really hitting me. I was like, man, I'm just fucking gay. Like, let's be real, you know? But I had never owned that to myself in my own mind at all. And that's the first time I had that thought. And I was 24 at the time, and we were in this retreat in Hawaii, like outside eating this beautiful meal, and I start feeling like emotions start to bubble up. And I just burst into tears in front of him. Like I'm sobbing, and he's like, what's coming up for you, brother? Like just so loving and present. And then I just tell him, dude, his name's Frank J. Frank J, I think I'm just gay. I think I'm just gay. And that's the first time I had ever said I am gay and owned it. And I was sobbing. And he's asked me, he's like, what do you think needs to happen? Like, what needs to happen for you right now? And I tell him, before our next exercise, like right when our next exercise is about to start, I'm gonna interrupt the facilitator and express it. Get in the middle of the circle and just express it. And that's exactly what happened. We were in a circle and the facilitator starts facilitating the exercise. And I said, wait, I need to say something. And I walked into the middle of the circle and I basically said something along the lines of like, I'm tired of wearing this mask that I'm confused about my sexuality. I'm not confused about my sexuality. I'm actually gay, and I'm sobbing, crying, and I fell to my knees. It felt like I had died. Emotionally in my body, like my whole nervous system it felt like I was wringing out like a sponge, and just these tears that I had held back since elementary, middle school were just all coming out at once. And then out of nowhere, this like feeling of power enveloped me, and I'm getting the chills talking about it. Oh my God, it's like it's happening again. I stood up and I looked everybody in the eyes and I just owned it. I owned it. I was like, I'm done. Confusion is dead. This is who I am. And I'm owning it like today. That was one of the most life-changing, most powerful, beautiful experiences of my life. Like, oh my God, I got a little like emotion welling up about it, because to think that for so many years I hated that aspect of myself, and then I went to like owning it, but I was like, oh, I wish it wasn't me, to now I'm like, shit, I'm so glad I'm gay and not straight. Like, ew. Just kidding. Ladies, you're beautiful if you're a lady watching this. Just not for me. But you're beautiful inside and out. Ever since that point, my healing process has kind of evolved to owning it for the first time, to like falling in love with being a gay man, and understanding like this process that coming out never really stops. Like, there's always people who think I'm straight. There's girls who like me, and I'm like, no, I'm actually not straight. Like, so it's like that I come out all the time, and that never stops. It's not just coming out once. What happens is that every time it's like way easier, and there's no emotional charge in the body really after a while. So another challenge that I've faced since then is like what it's like being gay and in this spiritual self-development space, which I'll talk about in another video. But if you've watched up until this point, thank you so much for being here. You could be anywhere else with your time, and you've chosen to give me your attention as I heal more by sharing my story with you. Thank you. And I want to remind you that you have a special gift that only you can give. And the best way that you can make an impact on this planet is to be the most you that you can be. To be a shining light such that your light brightens up the darkness around you. And you're not even trying. Thank you. Please like this video. Drop a comment below, like what comes up for you as you hear my story? What are some things you want to know more about me? And to talk about more as well. And drop a comment below. Please subscribe if you want to know more about me. Thank you so much, and peace.